for the last time this semester, the icepack will take the ice here at Invisalign Arena to take on the Patriots of George Mason. Nick Ferrazzi alongside Grace Motto here. Grace, and first off, we're gonna recap, an eventful weekend, I should say, last week for the icepack. 2 games against Alabama, 3rd and 4th straight against them, and in this building last Friday night, a 4-3 thrilling victory for the icepack.
And Labreezy sealed the deal with that win, sending them into overtime. But, they came out victorious. They did kind of tail off a little bit in their game outdoor at Charlotte, but you'll go more into detail about that.
Yeah, almost a complete role reversal of a very even game we saw here last Friday, too. The game NC State dominated in every single category except the one that matters most, goals. They lost that one to Alabama 4-2, an empty netter by the player of the game who had the game winner, Tyler Zent, last week. But for NC State last week, especially in Charlotte, took a lot of penalties, which is something, coming into this one against a George Mason team that doesn't take a lot, they're going to have to address.
They definitely will have to address that. And we've spoke time and time again to Coach Healy about their discipline, and he echoes the same message that he really would like them to say out of the box. Better plays are made, and all the space on the ice, it's kind of hard to play when you're a man down.
And that's exactly how Alabama tied the game in this building last week. Up at late power play in the 3rd period, tied the game at 3. Labreezy then won in overtime. But 6 penalties in Uptown Charlotte last week for the icepack. Just something that kept going on for them. But I think tonight, Grace, you can't take a lot of penalties like you mentioned. I think they will fix it. But we're going to take a look at George Mason on the other side of this break when we come back. NC State versus George Mason. Puck drop coming up soon.
Hello and welcome back to Invisalign Arena. I'm Grace Motto. Coach Healy took my play-by-play commentator for his last home game at Invisalign, so we will miss Nick very much next season. But right now, I really want to recap what he talked about in the first stand-up. So I will be going more into depth about George Mason Patriots. We had the opportunity to talk to their head coach, James, and he explained that they play clean hockey. He said in their past matchups against Rhode Island, which they are coming off of 2 straight losses, he explained that they didn't have any penalties. So he said that they play their strongest hockey when they are on full strength. And he mentioned some of the players like Schaefer have been contributing all season, and he's excited to see what NC State brings to the table. And my play-by-play, Nick, I don't know where he is, but you will see him in the 3rd stand-up. This has been an amazing journey with Nick, I do have to say. So I will send it to him in the 3rd stand-up.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go, from ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make, with bright ideas, new tools, and a Wolfpack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
you'll see
a warrior mom.
An endurance athlete.
Someone with a lot of fight.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit is unshakable. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Well, I'm looking good. Thank you. Just became a Real ID. What's the plan? Impromptu road trip? Actually, the plan is to fly to New York for today's product launch, and then visit the family in California and cap it off with a girls' weekend in New Orleans. You really can just do all that. Sure, I'm a Real ID, so I'm good to board any domestic flight. Speaking of which, gotta fly. Nice. Enjoy. I'll be here.
Be your Real ID self today. To learn how, visit tsa.gov/RealID or your local DMV.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Back here in Invisalign Arena, Nick Perazzi back alongside Grace Motto. Sorry to hang you out and dry there, Grace. Coach Tim Healy, the icepack, actually had me come in and give the lineup card for the NC State icepack. A reason being is something that I haven't really announced to anybody yet. I'll be graduating in about 2 or 3 weeks from NC State University with a major, or I should say a Bachelor's of Science in Meteorology, a minor in Environmental Science, and I'll be headed down to Tupelo, Mississippi, take a weekend meteorology job, an MMJ job at WTVA down there. So unfortunately, if you like me, which I hope some of you do, I will no longer be returning to the icepack following graduation, but Grace, you're going to take my spot. You've done a fantastic job as it is already, but enough about me. Let's get back to the contest that'll be played behind us. Now, one thing about George Mason that you mentioned, coming off 2 losses, but coming 11-6 this season, and some things to look out for the Patriots. George Goodwin, one of the top goal scorers and top points getters in all of college hockey, 28 points this year. Dylan Chon on the back end, as well as Matthew Price. But Grace, it's going to be a fantastic game, but got some points to point out tonight.
I do have my mottos. They're Thanksgiving food themed. So first one is pass the gravy. You want to make clean passes. It's important even whether you're full strength or not. And I also have roll with it. Dinner rolls are a huge part of Thanksgiving. It's a staple food. So, misplay, bounce doesn't go your way, the opponents get chippy, you just got to roll with it. And then my last point was don't fight over the wishbone. You want to stay out of the penalty box. I cannot stress how much Nick and I have said it repeatedly, but you want a clean game, and that's what George Mason says they will bring to the table today.
Yeah, and we talked to George Mason's coaching staff before the game. I asked him, what's their play style? What do we expect from you tonight? Not a lot to be said, but he said, if we just play our game, we'll be fine. And one of the things that their coaching staff really raved about was their lack of taking penalties. Their first game of the year, they won 9-2, 0 guys in the box. NC State, again, last week had 6 penalties just in Charlotte alone. They took about 4 or 5 here in this building. So it's going to be a test for the Icepack to try to win that special teams battle.
Yes, and we have talked about time and time again about the special teams battle.
Well, the lights are about to go out here in Invisalign Arena. The final game here in 2025 from this building coming up next. We have puck drop between the George Mason Patriots and the NC State Icepack coming up next. Welcome back to Invisalign Arena. Nick Perazzi alongside Grace Motto. We're going to start with our starting lineups for both teams. First, for the visiting George Mason Patriots, their forward group's going to be McAllister Markowitz. They've got Tyler Ruthermond out there, as well as Nick Ransom on the D pair. It's going to be, it's going to be George Goodwin, who we talked about earlier, as well as Jonathan Verity. As for the NC State icepack, they're going to go with that third line, Michael Rinaldi, Joey Govea, Brandon Raleigh, D-pairing Eric Darlene, Cam Smith, and in goal, Ethan Roberts. One thing to note tonight, Grace, only coach here for the NC State icepack is going to be Tim Healy, so how might that affect the icepack tonight?
You know, we talked to Coach Healy before the game, and we asked him about the Alabama series, and he said it's hard to win 4 games, but he said that he looks forward to seeing what the icepack will do tonight.
We have our ceremonial puck drop for tonight's game. Tonight being one of those special games NC State does every year, with it being RTCF night. And we had former cancer survivors be able to drop the ceremonial puck, which is something very cool to see. Of course, check your acorns. We've had a couple of them on in the past, and a great organization as we play the national anthem. Well, you take a look up close of NC State starting goaltender Ethan Roberts. This season, in 11 games, he's 6-3-1, 2.41 goals against, and a save percentage of .938. But on the other side, Jonathan Verity, 4-1, 13 goals against, 2.61 goals against average, and a save percentage .907, Grace. And something to note, no band here tonight for the icepack, of course. A certain football event going on just a couple of blocks away from us, but still a pretty good crowd.
I do have to say, I mean, it only matters how loud this crowd can be, Nick.
Looks like we are set to go here. I should preface, it's Taeyong Lim in net for George Mason. Undefeated this year, 5-0. 14 goals against average, 2.8 goals against average, and save percentage of .93. So it's going to be a test between the pipes between Lim and Roberts. The alternate captain for the icepack, Joey Govea, will take the draw. For NC State, they'll go up against Matthew Price of the Patriots. And we're underway here from Morrisville, North Carolina. Chun immediately dumps it in right on Roberts, who pads it away in the corner. Fight for the puck near the blue line. NC State able to get to the neutral zone, and they possess. Govea will take it in. He'll send it around the boards. Raleigh tied up with Tom there, now picked up from Petit. Scrum still loose, and now George Mason able to break out. Here comes Petit. Avoids a big hit from Darlene as he dumps it in. Govea first there for the icepack. Now it's Govea up for Raleigh. He'll get it to center ice. And George Mason will have to group. Alley. Crunched against the boards, turns the puck over. Darlene looked like he was trying to get it up the ice. It might have took a deflection as Kaufman will dump it in. NC State's second line gets to work. Herman couldn't get it to Kaufman, and now battle for behind the net. It's Herman looking in front and hit a skate, though. He had Labrizzi cutting hard. As George Mason able to get it out, but NC State able to dump it right back in.
Have to say, a lot of offensive pressure by NC State so far.
Yeah, ever since the second lines came out, they've had it. A quick shot from Ammons, and the first test for Lim is passed. He makes a good save. Oh, nice stick poke from Labrizzi, but he couldn't possess the puck in the slot. A spinning shot and a good save. Hey, that was a good one. Someone you got to look out for if you're NC State. Again, top 10 in the country for points. He's going to get an opportunity here as it goes in behind the net. Good defensive play by Thronson, and now it's Ammons. His first game back from an injury. Good to see him back out there. That puck hit a George Mason stick, so it's not icing, and NC State will change. Behind the net, it's Fisher. We'll send it around the boards. Plyler gets knocked down to the ice. NC State's forecheck is doing a great job right now, and they're going to force a turnover here. Immediately dumped back in by Tate Sodden. Chase for it, Fisher for George Mason there. Going up against Patterson. Prasma bodied off the puck from Thorne, and now George Mason looks to break out. Poked off the stick of Ruthermond, and Jake Gifford will control for NC State. Oh, turned it over to Thorne, a shot. Oh, hit Lapani in the knee, and he is down. Shot misses behind. Lapani still down the ice, and they'll stop play. He blocked that, looked like directly in his knee, and he immediately dropped, and that is not a good sight for NC State.
No, that is not a good sight at all.
Hunched over right now, and the sophomore from Rochester, New York, still slow to get up. He's going to get some help from his teammates. But NC State lost Reese Johnson in that Charlotte game last week. He's out with injury. They just got Ammons back like we mentioned, but this is an NC State team that's starting to have the injury bug catch up to them, and just 2.5 minutes in the game, it gets them again. And you hope that Lapani's all right. Patterson kicked from the face-off dot. Will be Prasma against Thorne. Tie-up, it's controlled by the Patriots. This one's dumped high and off the glass, out of play.
This will be interesting to see as the game progresses who... I feel like it's been pretty even so far. I mean, we're only a couple minutes in, but...
NC State controls off the draw. It's dumped in by Patterson. Goes around the boards. Darlene able to get it for NC State. Sends it right up against the boards. It gets loose in front on a weird knuckler. And George Mason able to clear. Now it's Darlene. Is it back? He'll receive the puck back. Tries to find Prasma. He'll dump it in. Hit Tom. Prasma dekes, dangles. Backhand pass. Couldn't get it to Gifford. Good defense from Dylan Chun. Good hit against the boards, though, from Darlene. Big fight for the puck against Karpov. Here's Patterson. Slaps one, looking for the deflection, and it just missed Prasma's stick. NC State putting great pressure, though, as they go for a quick change. Shot. That one missed on a good save. And finally dumped out from Daniel Tom for George Mason. They're going to get a change, and they need it. Good pressure from NC State, generating their first shot of the game on goal. Icepack quickly coming the other way. This is Austin Finch. His shot got knocked straight up in the air. A weird bounce off the stick of Markovich. To the point, Labrizzi controls, sends it in. Giancani looking for Finch. His stick got tied up. They go to the point. Here's Thronson looking to shoot. A good block from Janasis. Now a shot, and that one hit someone on the way, and George Mason able to get it. It was a shot from Aiden Rady, and it looked like Finch might have had its play on it, but too many green jerseys out in front. George Mason will dump. That one took a weird high bounce into the stanchion, or the rafters, I should say. Grace, it's 3 times the puck shot straight up tonight.
I know. I bet you they'd much rather it be a shot on net.
Yeah.
But Nick, I want to point out just 2 things I've noticed so far. We've seen it with Prasma and Herman, that they're kind of push the puck through traffic, especially in the offensive zone. You kind of want to peel out and make more space for yourself.
And that's something we saw Prasma do last week against Alabama, able to get a goal just from creating space, taking the puck in. Big hit against the boards there. And trying to win the puck back for NC State was Vinny Pascarosa. Hinkson will dump it in. He takes a little bit of a hit. Behind the net, Pascarosa sends it around. Here's Govea. And now moving through is Rinaldi. Rinaldi will shoot one and took another deflection and easily knocked away from Lim with his stick. Breaking it out is Petit for George Mason. Looks for the pass. He's going to find Ransom. Nick Ransom, and they're offsides. 15:09 to go in the opening period, and Grace, NC State's forecheck and really just offensive pressure. You mentioned it in the first minute. They continue to build off of that right now.
Yeah, so far NC State has pounced on every opportunity they have. And I feel like the key to this game with a great George Mason team is to win those 50-50 puck battles.
George Mason wins the draw. Chun dumps it in. They're offsides. George Mason did not realize it. Now NC State with a flub of a pass that allows the Patriots to get the puck back. A big break for them there because they had a lot of bodies still in deep. Chun throws one to the other side. It's Daniel Tom, but it's loose. He's trying to win it back, and he will not. Good play, though. Moving in quickly is Ammons. Ammons to Herman, and he just missed the net wide. Oh, a good hustle play from Ammons. That puck's still loose, though. Herman trying to win it back, but Petit will control and get it out. But a great opportunity for NC State. They're starting to get those looks. They just need to hit the net. Stretch pass able to be made. Here's Ammons again. He'll shoot one short side, but holding strong was Lim. Back to the point. Dahlin with traffic, and it gets knocked away into the corner. Now it's Herman working against Farley. Gifford tries to chip one to the middle for Ammons. Circling near the face-off dot. Looking in the middle for Kaufman and went off Lim. Puck bounces over Dahlin. A 2-on-1 the other way. It's Goodwin. He will pass it off, but it's too late for Petit, and it's too far behind him. Good opportunity for George Mason. They do get a shot off, but Roberts made the save. Now the other way, it's NC State. Dahlin couldn't get it across. Now a good pass. Here's Goodwin again with speed. Sends it to the corner. George Mason gets some fresh bodies out there defensively. Big crunching hit from Travis Plyler. As it's NC State in the corner. Pass to the other side, and then it's finally cleared from Govea. Look at Prasma, though, hustling for the puck. He's going to have an opportunity. Shoots one, and it's saved from Lim. He takes a big hit against the boards from Thorne. They battle for it in the corner. And now it's Goodwin for George Mason. Up against the boards. Plyler will send it in. Roberts comes out of the crease. Has to keep it in that trapezoid. And he sends it around the boards. That puck looked like it hit the netting. It did not, though. As a shot easily saved from Roberts, and that will give us a great stoppage. But Grace, how about that chance that George Goodwin had on Ethan Roberts?
That was such a good look, I have to say. Especially from up here, we're kind of above ice level a good ways. But I want to talk about how Gifford, great hockey IQ play. He saw the open space for Prasma to get the puck in the neutral zone instead of just kind of forcing the puck into the middle.
And well, something that we talked to Ethan Roberts about before the game, he mentioned George Goodwin and said if he's got a 2-on-1 opportunity, as that one goes high and wide, if Goodwin has a 2-on-1 opportunity, he's going to shoot it. And well, maybe Goodwin might have heard that comment because he tried to pass that to Petit. Oh, big hit, knocking off an NC State player who's slow to get up. That's Patterson as NC State moves the other way. It's Kaufman trying to find Prasma. Goes in deep. Gifford against the boards. Will lose it. Patterson gets off the ice as Finch will come on for him. So maybe another hurt icepack player as it's Sawden at center ice. Pass it to the other side. Lapani's back out there. Good to see for NC State as they'll go for, well, maybe it looked like they're going for a change. They are. They're going to get that fourth line out there. Connie's knock-in was denied from Fisher. Now George Mason the other way. They have trouble controlling it. That's Marsico. And he'll just bring it back. Now it's Fisher. Dumps it in on net. Patted away from Roberts. Behind the net, looking in front for an opportunity. That was Janasis. Sent around the boards. NC State looking to break out now. George Mason getting their forecheck in, and they're having a lot of success with it. Oh, big hit against the boards there. Awkward tumble, but NC State controls. It's Aiden Rady. Pass, hit a stick. That was of Marsico, but it still gets to Finch. Finch finds Rady in front, controls, and he just shot it high. Tough angle for Rady, but he had to take it. As NC State holds his own, Rady right in the slot, and a good save. Lim gets his pad out there. Great high-quality chance for NC State, who get the puck back on a steal. They'll dump it in and go for a change.
Those 2 shots are going to keep Rady up at night tonight.
Second one, just a fantastic save from Lim, but you know Rady's going to want that one back. Now the ice pack control again. Gouveia will bring it through. Bouncing puck, couldn't control it, and now George Mason has it. Here goes Nick Ranson on the boards. He'll send it in deep, and he'll try to chase it himself behind the net. They will battle for it. Looking in front, it's loose, and it goes high and wide. Good hustle play from Joseph Petit. Now a shot, and that hit a body in front. They swing it. Here's Ali. He'll dump it around the boards. First there for George Mason, Matthew Price. This is that danger line, if you will, for George Mason. Pass to the slot is stolen. And NC State comes the other way. Good steal from the senior Gouveia. Rinaldi drops it off for him. Gouveia will shoot one. Tried to 5-hole it, but Lim said no. Still fighting for it. This one will go all the way down. If it stays wide of the net, it is icing, and that's exactly what it is, Grace.
Nick, what are you seeing so far?
I'm seeing George Mason being able to, start their forecheck and start getting high-quality chances, but they're struggling against NC State's forecheck. And I think NC State's getting the high-quality chances right now, but George Mason's starting to slowly develop and understand NC State's game. And in the shot category, it's 6-5 in favor of the ice pack. They win the draw, but no one was there. It's set around the boards. Thronson pinches deep in. He'll try to win it back. Thronson's stick breaks. He's got to skate off to go get another one. Here comes George Mason the other way, and guess who? It's Goodwin. Thronson has a stick back. Goodwin shoots one way high and out of play.
So far, I believe that George Mason has had a great success of getting the puck out and transitioning from the neutral zone into the offensive zone. Like that play we just saw, amazing read.
Yeah, it was. They really get that puck, and they realized Thronson had to skate back to get his stick. Nearly caught him on that broken stick, but good job from Thronson getting back. Shot off the draw from Goodwin, and it's saved from Roberts. That was a sneaky angle, but a good shot from Goodwin, showing you why he's one of the best in D1 ACHA. Behind the net, Sodden for NC State. Stretch pass on the stick of Ammons. He's got Herman in the middle, but he has to stop for it. Was looking for Gifford, and it's too far. Lim sends it to the corner, and now here's Goodwin breaking out. Big hit again in the corner, delivered from Gifford. Now the other way, it's George Mason. Puck slides off the stick there, and now in the corner, looking in front. It's caught up in some skates. Up to the point, a shot from Fisher deflected wide of the net. Roberts will find it, and he will hold it. Puck, Grace, do you think that puck is kind of bouncing a little weird tonight, if you will?
I do believe that. You saw Gouveia kind of struggle with it when he got the puck into the Patriots zone, but I'm not going to lie, that can actually really affect a game.
Mm-hmm. We saw it last week in Charlotte. NC State dominated his shots on goal, but some bounces didn't go their way. Some weird bounces, again, with some of those boards not being totally flushed, and it cost them sometimes in that game. George Mason controlled off the draw. Prasma steals it, and here comes Kaufman the other way. They are offsides, though, as Kaufman had to circle back. Jake Gifford had to circle back, and a face-off will come to center ice.
And on plays like that, you don't want to rush the puck. Mm-hmm. You want to pick your head up and know where your teammates are, because even if that play wasn't offsides, he just passed it directly to the Patriots.
Prasma able to get that draw and win it. Gifford brings it in, took a hit. A lot of green jerseys in front of him. Now they break. Big hit! Ascarosa knocks Tom down to the ice. Tom gets the puck back, though. He'll send it in and takes another little jab. Well, what a hit from Vinny Pascarosa in the corner. And it's NC State able to break it out. Here's Prasma. He'll circle. It's onside. He's got Patterson. He couldn't get it there. Great defensive play using his stick. That was Karpov. Now George Mason the other way. It's Dylan Chun. Chun circling. The D-man goes in deep, but he lost the puck there. Up for Prasma. Able to poke it to center ice, and Plyler will control there. Farley tried to dump it in. Darlene gloved it. And NC State able to control. Farley hits the ice. Might have toe pick there. As NC State's able to bring it in. Here's Prasma. Oh, just kind of left it too far behind. Poked away, but they control still. And it's loose. Markowitz playing good defense here against NC State. A lot of bodies come together. Puck's still loose. Now NC State controls. Here comes Prasma. Darlene out of position. He's going to try to find him, and it's patted away. Good heads-up play, though, from Darlene to crash. But here comes George Mason. Plyler couldn't control the pass. Goodwin wanted to go, but they'll have to regroup. Up the boards, Farley and Goodwin for George Mason, but they can't win the puck battle. It's NC State with it. Stretch pass for Rady. Kind of just stopped. And Finch doesn't know where it is. Again, that puck just bouncing really weird tonight. Nothing wrong with the ice or anything here. As that's turned over, good opportunity in front, a shot, and it's saved. Oh, great opportunity for Rady, but NC State still has the puck. Thronson had to go through his wickets. As now a battle at center ice. Here comes Goodwin. Goodwin trying to deke around two icepack players. They get a shot off, and it hits the netting. Boy, how did George Mason find the puck there and shoot it? The shooter for the Patriots. Can't quite tell from here. It looked like it was Zakir Khan, though.
And I have to say, just looking from our angle, it looked like the icepack accidentally created their own screen.
They did.
Which, luckily for them, the shot went wide.
Well, Grace, you were very good when you played club hockey. You know, someone with similar caliber, George Goodwin, do you think NC State saw his number and decided to double him up, which is why that created it? Do you think that's what happened there?
And I truly believe that, but also sometimes you get so invested in where the puck is that you see more often than not players just attracted to where the puck is.
Hinkson had an equipment problem, so Dylan Chun has to come out for George Mason. NC State able to control off the draw. They look to break out. Long pass to the opposite side for Rinaldi. Crunched against the boards. Mersico brings it into D zone. And he looks for Chun. Govea forechecks. On the boards, here's Khan. Up the board pass, looking with speed now, and here comes Marsico. Crunched against the board. That puck is loose. Could have been scooped up from George Mason. Here's a shot from the face-off dot, but it's saved from Roberts. Here's Govea for NC State. He'll find Labrizzi. NC State looks to break out now into neutral ice. Labrizzi chips and dumps it in. He'll go off the ice for a line change as NC State tries to get a forecheck going. Coming up on the 6-minute mark here. Shots tied at 7. As NC State's forecheck, though, working well. Rinaldi did a good job as sticks get tangled between Lapani and Ranson. They fight for the puck in the corner. Now George Mason will try to forecheck. Here's Jack Ammons. Turned it over, though, on a no-look pass, but he gets it right back. Ammons has no help, though, up the ice as George Mason takes it back. They send it on in on Roberts, and he'll decide he wants a face-off with 6:02 to go in the first period.
Nick, what do you think the greatest challenge that George Mason is kind of presenting right now?
I think just maybe some breakout passes right now for George Mason, and especially when NC State's got that forecheck going. They have a lot of turnovers. We saw that opportunity for Aiden Rady. So I think that's something they got to work on, as well as sustaining some O-zone time. And they're going to have to start from their own D in here after winning the draw. And the forecheck for NC State looks like they're going to win the puck back maybe against the boards. Ammons will get it for NC State. Heck of a play from the icepack forwards. Kaufman trying to win it for the icepack. He will. He'll shoot an odd angle, but it misses the net. To the point, Lapani sends it down low. It's Kaufman. Alley able to knock it off his stick. Then Price took it, and here comes George Mason the other day. It's Petit. He will bring it in deep against the corner. Ranson trying to get it, and he will have to battle now with NC State, but they can't get the puck. Now a shot from an odd angle. Looking for the deflection was Chun, but it misses the net wide. Now Petit in the corner. Seen a lot of board battles, especially when George Mason is on offense. That puck nearly turned over, and it is. Sent in. Goodwin right in front. What a save from Roberts. Oh, a great opportunity for the Patriots. A one-timer misses the net. And this goes all the way down, but Grace, Ethan Roberts keeps this game level at 0.
Nick, and I have to say, when George Mason has the puck in the icepack zone, they do a phenomenal job at getting the puck on the net.
Oh, we might have to start calling Ethan Roberts the robber, because he's had a couple of robberies the last couple of games here in Invisalign Arena. In the corner, Darlene doesn't have a stick. He's got to kick it. As NC State's trying to break it out, they can't clear the blue line. A shot from the point and a save from Roberts on Wyatt Hinkson shot. One thing to note, though, Grace, a lot of teams that come in here, let's take a look at that Roberts save one more time. Just a chip to Goodwin in front. Tried the backhand, and Roberts slid with him. He knew what he's going to do, but a lot of teams, when they come in this building, they try to get underneath NC State's skin. But again, we talked about in the pregame, George Mason does not take a lot of penalties, and they are not initiating a lot after the play.
And there have been some big hits, but, you know, they've just finished them after they started it.
Gifford's pass for Prasma just a little too far, but they turn it over. Patterson in the slot. No, Prasma didn't know the rebound was going to be there for him. Taken down awkwardly there. NC State wants a call. They won't get it. Looked like he might have just got tangled up there. Gifford a shot. Had a lot of traffic from George Mason in front, but Lim able to stick it out of play. NC State applying some pressure again. Patterson in the slot, and then Prasma nearly had the rebound, but the chances keep coming for the icepack.
And that's exactly where you need to be for those rebounds. Prasma had great positioning on that play.
Patterson wins the draw to Gifford, but it went a little too high on him. Darlene will dump it in. Back to Gifford. Oh, what a save from Lim. A tricky play from NC State. Worked to perfection, but Lim denied them of it. Both goalies, we mentioned just before puck drop, were very good, as now Prasma the other way. He tried to shoot one, but Chun had to go off his stick. Patterson hustling for it. But both goalies, again, very high save percentages, and you could see why now. George Mason keeps turning the puck over, though. Here's Gifford. He'll shoot one, save. Rebound just went wide of the stick of Patterson. He'll send it around for Prasma. Great ozone time for NC State. Chun tries to clear, and he will. This will not be icing, as Goodwin applies some pressure with a forecheck of his own. Both teams making big line changes. Stretch for Prasma, misses his stick. This will be icing, and NC State with a big mistake there. Trying to get some new bodies on, maybe trying to catch George Mason out of play. Instead, it bites him in the butt.
And I want to point out this D pair for George Mason, Hinkson and Alley. They have truly done a great job of sealing the blue line.
Rutherman to take the draw for the Patriots. Patterson still out there for the icepack, but he wins the draw back. He can get off the ice, so can Prasma. As now here's Giancani. Turned it over, though, to Rutherman. NC State regrouping in their own D zone. Now looking to break out Labrizi. Someone toe-picked there. That was Rutherman. NC State trying to catch them off guard. Here's Austin Finch, a shot. Might have pinballed on net, but Lim makes the save. Loose in front. Again, a weird bounce towards the center of the rink. George Mason able to clear out. This will be icing if Janasis can't get there, and he will not. So now NC State can try to catch George Mason on the line change a bit here.
And Nick, NC State's leading with shots right now, 13-9.
Yeah, they've really upped the shot count up in the last 3 minutes. It was 7-7 with 6 minutes to play. Since then, 2 shots for George Mason, 6 for NC State. Those being on net, of course. Face-off won by George Mason. Another huge win after a team committed an icing. As this dump looks to be icing. If Lapani can't get there in time, he can't. So George Mason didn't really need to make a change. They didn't. And now NC State's going to try to catch them on it and bring some new bodies out there. 2:32 to go. Grace, you think this is going to be a set play?
I mean, usually you go into a face-off with a plan, but your plan can easily be disrupted if you lose it.
And it's disrupted just like that. George Mason again wins another critical draw. And they're able to clear now a quick line change. A lot of new bodies on the ice. NC State will take a shot. It's saved from Lim. Chance puck loose in front. A shot from Rinaldi, and it just got a piece of Lim and went wide. Gouveia keeps it in. He'll shoot from the point. Lim sticks it away. Petit tries to get it out, and he will. It's going to be a race for the puck. Ransom will beat the icing out as Roberts is forced out of the net. NC State looks to break out. Good hustle from George Mason. They're able to win the puck back. Here's Price. Final 2 minutes here of the first period. Rinaldi had that go off his stick, trying to win the puck back. But the pass from Gouveia just a little too far out in front. Price up the boards for Petit. We'll find Matthew Price back. Goodwin back out on the ice, trailing the play a little bit. He's there right at the point. Here's a good look in front, a shot. That deflected away. Goodwin will shoot one. That misses everything. Chun had a great chance, but NC State got to stick to it and made a good defensive play. A jab and battle behind the net. Squirts loose in front. That shot missed everything. The rebound took a weird carom off the net. And Chun has to regroup. He circles, though. Was looking for Goodwin. Goodwin will shoot an odd angle, looking maybe for Price, but he wasn't there. NC State finally able to clear, though. George Mason's best sustained O-zone time of the game. They're tired. Rinaldi will just send it deep. Ammons fresh on the ice will forecheck, and he's actually going to force a draw coming up here with exactly a minute to go. But Grace, George Mason had a good couple of chances there. Just couldn't get synced up.
Yes, Nick. And right now, with a minute left, 0-0, like you mentioned, you kind of want to have a set play off this face-off.
But again, it gets disrupted. It looked like they could have won it. Go Kaufman. Used his strength on the stick battle to bring it back. This one goes all the way down. Good hustle from Goodwin, but Stauden saws him off, if you will. NC State in their own D zone. Maybe one last attack. Lapani turns it over. Didn't get anything on that pass. It's stolen by Plyler. Plyler harassed, though, at center ice. NC State wins it back. Here comes Herman. Dumps it off, looking to the middle for Ammons, but he wasn't home. Ammons tried to find someone in the middle. No one was home there. Kaufman to Herman. Circling. Lapani goes in way deep. 20 seconds on the clock now. That one skips the stick of Tate Stauden. Here comes George Goodwin. He's got a one-on-one opportunity, and it's saved from Roberts. 13 seconds to go. Goodwin still hustling strong, though. He's been on the ice for a while. Finds an opportunity, and that one got deflected wide. Down to 5 seconds. Chun will shoot one with traffic. They score! Dylan Chun from the point. And it's 1-0 George Mason with 2.6 seconds to go.
Like I said, Nick, those screens, obviously they don't do them on purpose. It just happens when everyone's looking at the puck. But those truly can be detrimental, as NC State just found out.
Well, it's the first thing I'll write in the stat sheet this period, or I should say event sheet, and it's a goal. Just great deflection in front. How about the hustle from George Goodwin on the ice for well over a minute? Had a breakaway opportunity and then created an opportunity for George Mason and Dylan Chun to net one home as George Mason heads to the locker room with a 1-0 lead, Grace.
And as we go into the second period, it's still 0-0. It'll be interesting to see who can get the first one on the board. Excuse me, they just updated that.
I was going to say, you got a little thrown off there. They didn't update the scoreboard yet. But it'll be 1-0 George Mason at the break. When we come back, first intermission report coming up next. The count stands at 1-0 George Mason as we start our first intermission. Nick Perazzi alongside Grace Motto. And Grace, we talked about it right before puck drop happened. This George Mason team, very, very clean. But how about NC State kind of matching that through the first period?
And during our stand-ups, we usually do talk about NC State's penalties that they've taken. But so far, this has been an evenly matched game.
Yeah, it definitely has. But the one that kind of broke that even tie, if you will, Dylan Chun with 2.6 seconds on the clock gives George Mason a lead with a lot of traffic, really generated by George Mason's best player, George Goodwin.
And I talked about it on the broadcast about those accidental screens by NC State, and it's hard because as a player, you know, you see the puck and you kind of gravitate towards it. So you will obviously see a lot of accidental screens throughout the game.
Yeah, and you mentioned the screens from NC State earlier. It was George Goodwin. They might have just doubled them up to seal them off or potentially, but for NC State right now, they're out shooting George Mason 14-10. We both would say they've had more high quality chances, but just like Alabama last Saturday in Uptown Charlotte, just can't find the back of the net. What do you do?
I mean, you have all three lines in the mix, so you're hoping someone can step up. We've seen Reedy have a bunch of great shots. You know, they've kind of missed the net either like a little bit, they touched the post a little bit, but you just want to focus on whether it's taking a shot on the net, producing a rebound. You just want to confuse the goalie as much as you can.
Well, how about, you mentioned the goalies, how about both goaltenders? Ethan Roberts has saved 13 of 14, and then Lim on the other side saved all 10, including those great opportunities Rady had. So it is a bit of a battle in between the pipes so far.
You said it best. It is a battle between the pipes. And for both teams, they're so lucky to have such strong goaltenders.
Well, it's been a very good game so far. Again, evenly matched, but George Mason up 1-0 right now. We're going to talk a little bit deeper on what we saw in that first period and what adjustments need to be made between both teams when we come back from Invisalign Arena.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, icepack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all icepack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Why are sandwiches so much better hot?
I don't know. Why does everyone love summer or hot gossip? Hotter is just better.
Oh, don't forget about hot ovens. Or hot peppers.
Hot springs, hot chocolate.
Hot sandwiches.
Ooh.
Hot soup, hot air balloons. Hot yoga.
I get it. Hotter is better.
Or hot melted cheese. Sorry.
Potbelly, we bring the hot.
Happy birthday, Max.
Yes! I'm Joan the Phone, here to show you 4 easy ways to stay safe online. Come on. We can secure our world when you choose your passwords. Make them strong. Use a password manager to help you along. But don't just use a password alone. Get a call, get a text, or a code on your phone.
MFA really works.
We can secure our world. When it's time to update an app, don't you hesitate. Do it ASAP.
Just like that.
Watch out for offers too good to be true. What? It's probably someone trying to take advantage of you.
Hey, that's phishing.
Let's report it. Install updates. Make better passwords. Think before you click. Use multiple factors. That's how we can secure our world. Learn more at CISA.gov/secure-our-world.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Back here in Invisalign Arena, Nick Ferrazzi joined by Grace Motto. And Grace, that last time we talked about the goaltending in between the pipes for both teams. Talked about maybe adjusting for NC State. George Mason able to net one home. What do you think can excel them in terms of beating Ethan Roberts the rest of this game?
I feel like for George Mason, they just need to focus on, their coach said it best, they play a clean game, and we saw them come out on top because they stuck to what they know best.
Yeah, they did, and you mentioned, again, the clean game. Can't rave on it enough. It's just a George Mason team that's very disciplined. There's not a lot of players on this roster, but they're able to kind of keep their composure throughout the game. We said it during the broadcast, too. Not a lot of extracurriculars. If you're NC State, that can be a way to get some energy, because a lot of this building usually full. That football game happening right now, takes some fans away. It's still a good crowd, but I think for NC State, as a former player, what can energize you for the second period?
You don't want to dwell on the first period. You want to use it as motivation to get one in the back of the net. But you want to, like I mentioned with George Mason, but you want to kind of step up, match their play, win those 50-50 puck battles, and all offense, starts in the defense. I've said that time and time again.
Well, we mentioned it before, George Mason had a little bit of trouble in terms of breaking out of their own zone. Is there another way they can break out, if you will? Maybe a set play, bring another forward down?
I mentioned it in the broadcast, but a great hockey IQ play was by Gifford, sending it up to Prasma and just leaving the puck in open ice. So that could be the key change George Mason might make in the second period, but we'll have to wait and see.
A bit of a copycat league. Every league's a copycat league, and you're going to want to do it as well. But you get ready for this second period. NC State's generated a lot of high-quality chances. They just can't finish them. Could that dwell on you a little bit in terms? We saw Rady, 2 great chances, big saves from Lim. Is that goaltending getting your head a little bit?
I did mention on the broadcast, I was like, oh, those 2 shots are definitely going to keep him up tonight. But you just really want to bear down and get the puck in the back of the net. But it's also nice to see how the goalie moves, how the goalie reacts to some of those shots, so you can adjust going into the second period.
Well, we'll break down exactly what adjustments we expect to see going into this second period. But for now, it's 1-0 George Mason on top of the NC State Icepack. Puck drop about to happen here at Invisalign Arena, but first, we're going to take one more quick look at what each team needs to work on going into the second period. Nick Brozzi alongside Grace Motto. And Grace, any adjustments for NC State?
Great question. I feel like they need to make smarter decisions under pressure. I mentioned it in the broadcast as well about forcing passes through George Mason's skates. It's something, in the moment you're kind of like, oh, I see an open skater, I see a white jersey, I should definitely send the puck that way. But that's how most turnovers are created, and especially if you're in the offensive zone, you want to hold onto that puck for as long as you can. So whether it's dumping the puck down a little lower, someone can skate and go grab it, or taking it back or moving your positioning a little bit.
Yeah, and I believe that happens a lot in the neutral and O-zone for NC State. For George Mason, I think it's just going to be stick to your plan, but have some better breakout passes. We'll see how all that comes to fruition coming up in the second period right after this.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Why are sandwiches so much better hot?
I don't know. Why does everyone love summer or hot gossip? Hotter is just better.
Oh, don't forget about hot ovens. Or hot peppers.
Hot springs, hot chocolate.
Hot sandwiches.
Ooh.
Hot soup, hot air balloons, hot yoga.
I get it. Hotter is better.
Or hot melted cheese. Sorry.
Potbelly, we bring the hot.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go. From ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make. With bright ideas, new tools, and a Wolfpack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, icepack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all icepack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
The all-new ESPN app has arrived. It's all of ESPN all in one place. It's your home for the most and best live sports and a whole new way to experience ESPN. With over 47,000 live events, studio shows, and ESPN originals and brand new features, it's a sports fan's dream. Check out Multiview and watch up to 4 games at once, or track your fantasy team while you watch TV. The future of sports has arrived, and it's called ESPN. So download the ESPN app on your TV or mobile device, log in, and start streaming.
I think a lot of fans at home might be using that multi-view feature to watch some NC State football as well, but hopefully you've switched the audio to us. You've gone full screen with us as that game at halftime, 7-3 Wolfpack on top of the Florida State Seminoles. But we've got a great hockey game here, 1-0 George Mason. And what was a very competitive back and forth game with great goaltending, great plays, and great defense. And set to get underway in the second. And NC State able to get that draw and control it. They'll send it in deep. Into the corner. Goodman gets the assist on that Chun goal at the end of that first period as NC State steps up offensively, but George Mason able to get it out, and here they come, and guess who? It's George Goodman on the wing. Shoots one, and it's patted away by the stick side of Ethan Roberts. That was a great shot from Goodman to get it over there. George Mason able to win the puck back, though. They'll have to bring it all the way down in their own end and regroup from there. Right at the blue line, it stays in the zone, so it's onside. A couple of big hits, and now NC State the other day. It's Michael Rinaldi across. Darlene looking in front. And Lim had it shoveled away. No one for NC State wanted to get there. as they fight for it again in the corner. A lot of corner battles this game. Very physical, grinding game in those corners. As breaking out for George Mason, it's Daniel Tom. Up on the wing, it's dumped in from Goodwin, and he'll go in for a change. That one was a weird angle shot, I believe, from Rutherman. I don't know if he was trying to shoot it or not. This will go all the way down, though. No icing, though. It's waved off. In the corner, it is Goodwin. He's still out there. Long shift for him. NC State wins the puck back, though. They quickly turn it over in the corner, trying to get it back on the forecheck. Herman battling for NC State, and he'll be able to get it in front. Herman will shoot one, and it's saved away from Lim. Just tried the near post, and Lim held strong. Now George Mason the other way with speed. Matthew Price takes it in around Labrizzi. Price in front, he shoots, and it's saved from Roberts. Price with a nice nifty couple moves that undressed Labrizzi, but couldn't beat Roberts. Might have even missed the net, as again that scrum in the corner happens. Whoa, down to the ice after a good move was Nick Ransom. Coffin made the move. Now he looks in the middle. Ammon's a shot, and it got blocked on its way in. Ammon's toe picks as he tried to clear, and it's a turnover. Now George Mason the other way, but pass too far, and NC State will dump and chase for another forecheck. Off the board pass. This one goes right through Thronson as George Mason able to change bodies. NC State lets it go back. Deep stretch pass, knocked away, but Patterson able to get it. Gets upended there from Hinkson. Sent the other way, Lapani pinches in deep. This one's shot off the boards and up to center ice. Dumped in from Tate Sodden, controlled behind by Lim. And George Mason breaks the other way. Goodwin back out there again. Dumps it around. This should be icing, and it will. Just under 3 minutes gone in that first period, Grace, but a lot of action so far.
Truly. Both teams are trying to be the first to get one more on the board. I mean, one more if you're George Mason, but if you're NC State, you're just trying to tie it up.
Just looking for those opportunities. Something NC State's got to work on now, though, is the speed of Goodwin, the speed of Price, both on the ice right now. Something they got to look out for because they've beaten them a couple times so far tonight in terms of those odd man rushes and breakaways. And here they come off the draw. Goodwin up for Plyler. He split the defense, but the pass was just too far on the chip. Now he's wrestled up by Lapani behind the net. Plyler still fighting for it. Good couple battles against the boards again. NC State breaks it out. Sodden leading the charge. He'll send it across for Gifford. It's out of his reach. Recovered, though, from NC State. Pass didn't get there. It's held in by Lapani. He takes a bit of a shove. And this one's sent around the boards. Patterson pins his man against the boards, but it's controlled by Andrew Fisher of the Patriots. Here comes George Mason the other way. It's Farley. Tried to drop it off for Goodwin. Chun's flying in the other way. He'll get it on his stick and shoot one in the chest of Roberts. It's loose still in the face-off dot. No one could control it. Plyler sent it across, but Goodwin wasn't crashed down enough. Up to center ice. Chipped along and now sent in deep from Plyler. He takes an awkward hit against the boards. Right against that bench. NC State trying to slow it down here and control the play. Well, maybe not. Stretch for Gifford doesn't get there. Goes in deep and chasing it Daniel Tom as NC State gets some fresh bodies. But George Mason pinning NC State into their own D zone so far. Great start for the Patriots. Sodden chips it up. It's kicked in from Chun. Now to center ice. Battle controlled from NC State. Darlene through the wickets. Finds Finch. Makes a move. Finch will bring it in the O zone. Finch gets the corner. Behind the net. All the way up top. Eric Darlene. He'll wrist one from the point. That one saved from Lim. A lot of traffic in front there, but Lim saw it all the way through.
And that was a great play by Darlene to, walk the blue line, take the puck in, and try to make the goalie move a little bit.
Maybe some of those accidental screens from George Mason that you're talking about NC State doing might have happened there as NC State tries to get bodies in front for that point shot. Something NC State doesn't really go to a lot. A lot of those point shots where they get traffic in front. So maybe a different look here for the Ice Pack. George Mason wins the draw. They look to break out to center ice. Takes an awkward bounce off Cam Smith. Here's Rutherford in. He'll shoot one off the stick of Darlene. A great play as that one goes high into the netting and out of play.
And we've seen a lot of producers for the Patriots. I feel like every time you see one of them touch the puck, they're shooting it or making a great pass.
And they all got speed. Markowitz shoots one. A lot of traffic, didn't get through. Racing Darlene, he's had a long shift out there. He's got space in the middle, looking for Giancani. He tried to leave the door open on Lim. It was there, but he couldn't get it there. It's not kept in from Cam Smith. Kind of a weird puck bounce as he tried to hold the blue line. Coming the other way was Rothermond, but he can't get it. He takes a big hit against the boards, crashing with Smith. They go at it right in the crease. A big hit on the far end as NC State gets it all the way down. Patriots looking to break out. They collide into each other. Down went Rothermond as they still battle for it against the boards. Good steal there from NC State. Here they come the other day. Aiden Rady's got some men in front. He'll shoot one himself, and Lim makes the save. There was people in front for Rady, but Grace, there really wasn't a opening for him to make a pass there.
Rady is chomping at the bit to get one in the back of the net, but he's done a great job at taking all the open ice he can get.
And a good defensive positioning from McAllister Markowicz. Take away that passing lane for Rady, force him to shoot that. Face-off one from NC State. That shot goes way high into the far corner off Rinaldi. It looked like it hit the skate of Zakir Khan. Good pressure, though, from NC State on the forecheck. George Mason able to tip, and here they go with numbers. On the far side, taking it in deep is Wyatt Hinkson. He'll try to dump it around Labreezy. And it's in the corner now. Looking for a man in front. It's loose in front. Was looking for Zakir Khan, but he couldn't get it there. Now to the point. A wrist shot from the point, and that one saved into the netting from Roberts. Good look there for Andrew Fisher.
Nick, I have to say the netting tonight is working overtime.
No, it really is. Well, it's about 5 or 6 now into the netting. Maybe 7. Maybe 7. So I didn't do the motion. You decided to do it, but we'll go with 5 to 7 shots that got into the net so far. Face-off one from George Mason. They're starting to win a lot in there. It's loose right in the slot, and it looked like it went off a skate in front. Taking the shot was Petit. George Mason is on the prowl, though. Down low, Matthew Price back up. Dylan Chun, the game's lone goal scorer, looks for another, and it's saved from Roberts' end.
Another shot into the netting.
I mean, the netting's the real MVP tonight so far. And again, not the full capacity crowd we're used to here at Invisalign Arena with the football game going on. Still a decent crowd, but if we were at full capacity, that netting truly would be the MVP of tonight's game.
And Nick, you mentioned the Patriots controlling most of the face-offs, and I have to say they have done a fantastic job at getting the puck quickly.
Tie up goes to NC State. Chun couldn't hold the blue line, and he'll dump it in as George Mason has to tie up. Got a score update from Uptown Charlotte as they continue to play games there. A couple of recruit members still there working that game. 3-2 Virginia Tech on top of the Georgia Ice Dogs, which NC State saw Georgia to open the season. They're going to get a potential takeaway here. Ammon's having a great game. Finds Herman in the slot. Shot saved from Lim. Still loose in front, but he's able to get pounce on it. And a face-off coming. Man, Jack Ammons in his first game back, Grace. They call him Jammer, and we're seeing why.
I have to say, after he touches the ice, he is one of those players that you're lucky to have on your team.
Yeah, the freshman from right here in Raleigh, North Carolina, his 13th game of the year, 4.59, his stat line. Tie up. Goes to NC State. Herman tried to drag and shoot it, but he lost it. Here's George Goodwin the other way. Look at the speed and precision he has. Gets around Sawden right to the net. But he couldn't get it to Plyler. Still gets the puck back, though. Plyler trying at it now. Kaufman gets it after a good seal-off from Lapani. Ooh, awkward collision there. Going down to the ice was Andrew Farley. Herman the other way. Just couldn't control the puck there. But now Kaufman for NC State. He'll take it in deep. Kaufman, wrap around. Said no from Lim. Behind the net, George Mason trying to get it out. Sawden will try to dump it in. Farley had an awkward bounce. Sawden brings it in deep, but George Mason whacks it away. Now it's Farley. Finds Goodwin, awkward bounce off his stick. Dumped it, big collision between Lapani and I believe that's Plyler. They went at it a little bit. Now the other way. Here's Goodwin. Shoots from the slot with traffic. It takes an awkward bounce off the glass as it missed everything. Goodwin up to near 10-plus shots on the game. Some of them haven't been on goal. Big hit. Or a good reverse it from Markowitz. Goodwin a shot save. Oh, great opportunity for Goodwin in front. Got distracted by the reverse hit at center ice. As now NC State trying to get the other way again. Herman just can't get on the same page with Kaufman. Or excuse me, Gifford, who was open in the slot. That pass didn't make its way through. Gifford pushed hard against the boards from Wyatt Hinkson. They send it around the other way. In the corner now. Back in front. Patterson a shot. It gets deflected high. It stays in play though. Prasma trying to win the puck back. Good defensive play from Fisher, but he's got to get up. Point blast with some deflected traffic potentially from Prasma's save. Darlene took it, but Lim had it coming all the way through in another chaotic sequence, but NC State just musters 1 or 2 shots on goal there.
I think Patterson's shot kind of got Hinkston a little bit.
That might have been the case there. The first line for NC State still out there. Patterson, Prasma, Gifford. It's Cam Smith and Darlene, the 2 D pairings. Face-off won by NC State. Shot got blocked, though, from Karpov. They look to bring it back, though. It's Prasma in the corner. Looking for some help as he gets pushed against the boards. Get a look at it up close. Patterson will join in the battle. Daniel Tom trying to win that puck back, being physical, loose in front. Gifford just had no chance. Backhand attempt from Patterson to the middle, no. And now George Mason tried to bring it out, still behind the net. Daniel Tom plays it around the boards. Trouble handling it was Petit. And this one's sent out of play into the bench. And the faceoff will stay in the own zone, and George Mason will not be able to change. Tired of bodies out there, Grace.
And this could be great for NC State. You know, you really want to wear down your opponents and kind of pounce on any opportunity, such as the opposing line being out there for a while.
And NC State's going to switch that forward group to that 4th line. Finch to take the draw, winged by Rady and Connie. George Mason able to control off the draw, bring it to center ice. Good hustle, getting shoved down from Connie. It was Karpov. The other way, Rady, might have got knocked away from Dylan Chun. He's been everywhere tonight. Cam Smith behind the net. Connie gets it right back. Rady sent it in, but Chun able to deflect it. He'll have to regroup. He approached the halfway mark in this game. Just 1 goal came with 2.6 seconds left in that first period. Dylan Chun netted home his 3rd goal of the season and his 20th point. One of the best scoring defensemen in the country. Behind the net, Darlene wraps it around the boards. Here's Rady. That pass misses everybody, or did it? It finds Connie off the boards. Brings it in deep. Knocked off his stick. NC State trying to hold the line. It looks like they will for the moment. Finch battling against the boards. That one gets loose, though, and now coming the other way is George Mason. Farley up the boards. A battle for it in the far side. Finch had to go off his stick. Connie has it back, and now NC State 2-on-2. Leading it to Rinaldi. He'll shoot one. That went high and wide. Might have hit a stick of a Patriot on the way. Around the boards, it's George Mason controlling. Looking to break it out. Stretch pass too far. Now Nick Labrisi controls. Govea finds Brandon Raleigh. Raleigh sent it home, but no one was there to answer the door. Behind the net, both teams can't find the puck. And it's scooped up from Rinaldi. George Mason able to break out. NC State sustaining ozone time as this one will not be covered from Roberts. They've got a great opportunity the other way. Here's Joey Govea. He'll shoot one and a save from Lim. All loose in front. Govea tries to get back at it. George Mason can't have possession, though, yet. Now they will. It's controlled from Ranson, but still some pressure from the 4th line of the icepack. Or I should say 3rd line now, as Labrisi wins it back. But Ammons had just come on the ice from a line change and a face-off coming for George Mason. But Grace, NC State getting some great ozone time, but they just can't get a good shot off, if you will.
I mean, right now they're leading.
Yeah.
22 shots on goal to George Mason's 15. And I have to say, for the Patriots, out of their 15 shots, they were lucky with a quality shot.
And they've had a couple of odd man rushes, breakaways as well to tally to that. They haven't added to that 15 in quite a bit, but they still have the 1-goal lead, and they're keeping NC State off the board right now, playing a bit of a pesky game, if you will. They're able to control off the draw. Up top, it's Petit. He'll send it in down low. Ranson misses everything. It goes back to center ice. George Mason's got to regroup. Here's Dylan Chun. He'll send it in deep, avoids a hip check from Govea. And Sodden rings it around the board. Right to Price, an awkward bounce. Now here's Holden Kaufman. 2-on-2 with Ammons in the middle. Kaufman has to race around Chun. He can't. Great defense from Chun, looking to win the puck back, but Kaufman stays with it. Sends it in deep off the stick of Chun. Finds Ammons. Finds Herman. Now it finds Ammons. Back to the point, Dahlin. Dahlin, another wrist shot. Saved, and great traffic in front, though. Holden Kaufman was unevaded from any green jersey there.
And that's one of the danger zones for George Mason. But if you're NC State, that's the golden area. That's exactly where you want to be. And Kaufman did a great job of seeing that, hey, no one's covering me right now.
If you're George Mason, you got to get a body out in front of there. They get lucky there, though, as they decided to jump away from the puck. That was Kaufman. This is offsides against NC State, so they have to touch up, which allows George Mason to get organized and break out. It's dumped in from the captain, Quinn Alley. And deep, he'll shoot one. And it's patted away. That was Plyler. They fight for it down low, right in the slot. A great opportunity for Goodwin, but Roberts was up to the task. Alley will send one in, blocked from Aiden Rady. And now they go the other way. Oh, pass behind Rady, though. George Mason continues the offensive pressure. George Goodwin behind the net. Reverse it. Both players go down to the ice. That was Rady looking in front, and it's stolen away from Kaufman. Now sent behind. Lapani had the steal. And now here comes Herman off the pass from Ammons. Bringing it the other way. Kaufman needs to get off the ice. Shot from Ammons, and it got blocked. Looking in front, Patterson alone in the slot. It bounced off his stick, and he never got a shot away. Oh, man. A great opportunity for NC State, results in nothing. Plyler drops it off. Goodwin, a shot off the pad of Roberts. Behind the net, it's Kaufman for NC State. Long stretch pass for Patterson, actually hit Fisher. Now Patterson has an opportunity to go in. No icing, and they scrum for it again at the boards. George Mason wins that scrum, struggling to break it out, though. As it's one from Cam Smith. He'll dump it in off a body. Goodwin comes off the ice. Another long shift for him, but it doesn't seem to faze him.
Truly doesn't.
He's got a lot of stamina, and we're going to have a stoppage here and a penalty. Our first of the game. It's going to be interference. And it looks like it's going to go against Eric Dahlin for the icepack. It's been a clean first 36 minutes, or actually 34 minutes of this game. But an interference against Dahlin. George Mason to the power play.
And it'll be interesting to see. Oh, Goodwin's out on the power play.
I was going to say.
So it'll be interesting to see what the Patriots put together for their power play and how NC State responds to that.
NC State without one of their top 4 defenders. Danger line out there for George Mason. It goes all the way down. Dylan Chun out there with Goodwin. Price out there as well as Farley. And then helping them out is Nick Ranson. Everybody out on the ice for George Mason is in the double-digit point category. Behind the net, Roberts. Oh, a big hit in the corner. And that's going to be interference. Yeah, that's going to be a penalty. And that's a no-brainer. Right in the corner. Not really sure what Farley kind of did there. Or actually, excuse me, it's going to be George Goodwin to the box. Looked like it was Farley. He was closest there in that collision in that far corner. I believe it was Goodwin, and he'll go to the box 2 minutes for interference, and all of a sudden, a bunch of penalties on the board. We'll have a minute 35 of 4-on-4.
And for the Patriots, you were kind of wishing Goodwin would be out for their power play.
Especially 4-on-4 with his speed. You're right, Grace. 2 interference calls just 25 seconds within each other after no penalties the first 34 minutes of the contest. But a lot of space out there, a lot of fast players for both teams. George Mason looking to show it off first. It's sent into the corner. As Labrizzi able to win the puck off of Ruthermond. He'll take a hit in the corner. Now it's NC State the other way. Kaufman drops it off for Ammons. Ammons will shoot one and he scores! Welcome back to the lineup, Jack Ammons. Jammer ties it at 1.
And Nick, what a great welcome back for him. It looked like the goalie was a little too late on popping down into that butterfly. But what a great look for Jammer.
Yeah, Ammons kind of pulled. He looked to shoot. There's a lot of traffic in front. I didn't really expect it to get through. You take a look. But it was just a beautiful placement to him from Kaufman. And then Ammons able to nail it home, and we'll stay 4-on-4 as NC State ties it at 1-1 in the last 51 seconds. After just a goal, the only game event before that, we've seen 2 interferences in the game-tying goal. There's now some confusion as George Mason's penalty was taken off the board. So we got to get that back up. There should be roughly, let's say, 43 seconds. Yeah, 43 seconds up on there with 1:08 left. So 68 seconds left on the penalty to Darlene. Or excuse me, it should be 1:33 left for George Goodwin. My mistake. But they'll talk it out. But Grace, how about NC State able to respond, and really a goal that we weren't really going to expect that would have got by Lim, but sometimes good things happen when you put the puck on net.
Truly, you couldn't have said it better. And I feel that right now for the icepack, you can really feel the pace kind of tilting a little bit towards them. You know, they were hounding the puck a little bit more, trying to limit the space and time that the Patriots could have with the puck.
Yeah, now they've got to figure out how to get this penalty down, though. But you're right, Grace. NC State able to adjust. They had a lot of prime opportunities on the offensive end earlier. It looks like they got everything sorted out. Bit of a score update from Uptown Charlotte again. ACHL hockey happening there. Virginia Tech ties it at 3 with just over 2 minutes to go. And as faceoff goes, Prasma with speed and space, but a good defensive play behind. He still has it, was looking for Thronson, but it didn't get there. 5th of the year for Ammons. Gets it from Kaufman as George Mason comes the other way. With speed, Matthew Price gets around. Backhand attempt was too wide of the net. And now here's Zach Herman. And we'll circle back, and feels a little bit like overtime there with him circling back. A minute left on the penalty to George Goodwin. 30 seconds on the penalty to Darlene. And once that's over, it's 5-on-4 advantage NC State. And it's Lapani. NC State trying to just bleed as much as they can as 4-on-4. Lapani brings it in, finds Herman in the slot. He'll shoot one, but it's blocked on its way in. Puck loose, pointed out by Price. He'll pick it up, and he's got a buddy up the ice in Farley, but he has to button hook back and take a hit. Center ice, Hinkson drops it way back as George Mason will just wait until this penalty is over. Or maybe not. They're going to try to get an O-zone chance here. Farley goes in. They should just try to eat as much time as they can. Farley triple teamed, and now NC State will begin their power play offense with just 17 seconds left. Prasma brings it through, avoids a stick slash. Oh, and a bad pass to Darlene just went through, and now the other way. Farley tripped up. That will be a penalty. And so with 7 seconds left of the George Goodwin penalty, NC State will go back down to 4 men on the ice. It's Prasma, 2 minutes for tripping.
And Darlene almost had that pass from Prasma, but when you leave a pass like that, you kind of want to know the person behind you, have that hockey IQ on it, whether they're a righty or a lefty. But that was a great play Prasma had in mind.
With just 7 seconds left of the power play, it'll be 7 seconds of 4-on-4. Draw goes in the George Mason end. And then Goodwin comes out, and he will get to be able to play pretty much a full power play unit. Draw one by George Mason, but Finch was there. No one home in green for the Patriots. As Goodwin comes out, George Mason starts their second power play technically. He'll go right to the bench, though. It's Thorne out there. Finch does a good job chewing some clock a little bit. As the Patriots get set behind the net, they'll bring the push out with 1:40 to go. Far wing dumped in by Plyler. Behind the net, it's Roberts. And we'll try to get it out by the boards. It's kept in, though, by Thorne. Sent in on net. Petit nearly got a deflection there. Against the boards, Labrizzi gets pinned. Petit fighting for it. Plyler pinning Labrizzi. Hook just out of reach. And a shot couldn't be gloved from Roberts. Ammons pushes up the boards. It's kept in on the blue line from George Mason. Circling for something. Oh, Ruthermond is open there for a good one-timer. Doesn't take it, though, as he gets the pass. He finds it back for Thorne. Thorne into the corner, down to a minute left on the George Mason man advantage. Finds Ruthermond. He'll shoot the one-timer now, and I think that caught iron. Oh, a great opportunity for the Patriots to go up 2-1. But Tyler Ruthermond hits the crossbar.
And Nick, has a lot to be said about George Mason's power play unit so far.
And that's more than likely their PP2 unit. Here's a great look at it here on replay. Notch Ruthermond just in that Alexander Ovechkin area. Great opportunity. Roberts got in front and got a little assist from the crossbar. But now it's the PP1 unit for George Mason. Oh, big hit from Darlene. And an awkward hit. Farley's down on the ice, and he's slow to get up. They should stop here, I think. So he's able to get back to his stick. NC State clears, but Farley hunched over, hurt. A little surprised they didn't stop play there for that, as it's now half a minute now left on the George Mason man advantage. They go up the wing. Here's Petit. They'll bring it in. Looking for some bodies. Dropped it off. Now it's Dylan Chun looking Goodwin right high in the slot. He'll wrist one, but it got blocked. Chun gets it back. He's going to find Goodwin again. He'll shoot from the slot again, and it goes right into the glove of Roberts. 12 seconds left on the man advantage.
Just seeing George Mason's power play breakout, I'm kind of shocked with how great their flow is, and dumping it in and having two guys chase it is, they've done a great job at just getting the puck down there.
Especially with Andrew Farley having to come out on that unit. Body you don't really see out there on his. Chun shoots on it, gets deflected wide of the net. Goodwin has it behind it now. Power play coming to an end. One-timer stick broke. NC State gets it. Quick pass up to Prasma. He's got speed and space. 3-on-2. Couldn't undress the stickless alley. The captain makes a great play, but Prasma gets it back. Shoots for a deflection, but it didn't get home. Now it's Price the other way. He's got Goodwin. Goodwin circles right to the middle. Oh, he got knocked off his stick. Price tried to screen him off, but they get an opportunity, but it's caught up in the skates of Dylan Chun. And now a stoppage here with 1:13 to go. And this will come down to the NC State end, I believe. But a couple of good opportunities for George Mason, Grace, but puck just bounced a little too much there.
We saw it kind of stick in NC State's zone just a little bit.
Yeah, it was the broken stick from the captain, Quinn Alley. That was huge for NC State. Allowed Prasma to get out of the box and get the puck as he came out of the box. George Mason did a great job. Quinn Alley, specifically stickless, did a great job defending it. The Patriots now 0 for 2 on the man advantage, albeit both a little bit shortened. As another scrum in the corner. We've seen a lot of this all night. It's a rugby scrum down there, if you will. NC State will get the puck off of it, though. Labrizzi just shoots it in. It goes behind the net. And now George Mason looks to break out, and they will. Through center ice. Ruthermond lost it, though, from behind. Ammons chips it up. Here's a good chance for Kaufman. Has to get rid of it quickly. He just couldn't get the shot off. Chun goes down to the ice awkwardly. Kaufman falls on top of him. Chun might be hurt. He's a little shaken up to get up. As it's brought back out from George Mason, they'll go to the bench for a change. Collision at center. Patriots wanted a penalty. They won't get it. Down to the ice was Ruthermond. Looked like he took a collision with Labrizzi. One last push for NC State. An angry player slams the bench door shut. And this one's dumped in to the corner, down to 5 seconds. Rotherman pushed up against the boards. And Sawden will be pinned against the boards to close out period number 2. And now some action. Sawden going at it with Rotherman. And Labrizzi immediately stops it. But at the end of the second period, it's 1-1 after a tying goal from Jack Ammons here in Morrisville. We're knotted up at 1 here in the second intermission from Invisalign Arena. Nick Perotti joined by Grace Motto. And Grace, specifically those last 6 minutes of the period. Before then, we had just had 1 goal, no penalties, nothing really else other than some good chances. Since then, we've had a goal and 3 penalties. So what happened?
Truly, it goes for any sport, but mainly hockey, that things can change in an instant. You know, the puck can bounce a certain way, and boom, you have a goal. So it's nice to see both teams kind of pick up the intensity, but right now we're tied going into the third period.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it happens from that penalty. Truly, 2 penalties that generated the 4-on-4. Darlene goes to the box, but George Goodwin, George Mason's highest scoring player, immediately joins him in the penalty box, which allows for Jack Ammons and his first game back from injury to net home his 5th goal of the season.
And I have to say, Goodwin has been a name we've mentioned so many times to talk about. He has a great hockey IQ, and he has had a lot of offensive zone chances.
Yeah, he definitely has, but we did see a couple penalties tick up towards the end of that period. Saw NC State take 2. They were able to kill off the 2 power plays, if you will, albeit abbreviated. And we saw the Goodwin penalty, which NC State didn't do much on except take a penalty of themselves. So all of a sudden we've seen the action pick up. We saw some action in the corner at the end of the period. Do we see this carry over to the third potentially?
I have to say we did see the physicality aspect kind of amp up as well, especially during that kind of penalty frenzy. But I feel like we'll definitely see this momentum carry into the next period. I mean, you don't want to walk out of here or go into overtime. So it'll just depend on what team will show up in the last period.
Well, we saw 4-on-4 hockey a little bit there. We saw power play hockey, but a lot of odd man rushes specifically for George Mason. Players like Price, Goodwin, and even Dylan Chun being able to create their own space coming down the other way against NC State and creating some high quality chances.
And if you're a defenseman, odd man rushes are very difficult for you to kind of depict whether you want to take the shooter in this instance or take the one waiting, back door for that pass. So I feel like NC State has done a great job, especially on those odd man rushes, on seeing, kind of feeling out what they want to do.
Yeah, they definitely have. And one of those players that's been able to kind of generate some offense for him and has the only goal of the game so far is Jack Ammons. He'll be joined by you, Grace, on the other side of this break. For now, though, it's 1-1, Icepack and Patriots.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go. From ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make. With bright ideas, new tools, and a Wolfpack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
When you look at me, you might see
A person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
an endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
Is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing. Because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Well, I'm looking good. Thank you. Just became a real ID. What's the plan? Impromptu road trip? Actually, the plan is to fly to New York for today's product launch, and then visit the family in California and cap it off with a girls' weekend in New Orleans. You really can just do all that. Sure, I'm a real ID, so I'm good to board any domestic flight. Speaking of which, gotta fly. Nice. Enjoy. I'll be here.
Be your Real ID self today. To learn how, visit tsa.gov/realid or your local DMV.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's gonna take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Back here in Invisalign Arena, Nick Perazzi alongside Grace Mata. We got a couple of score updates for you folks at home. Over in Uptown Charlotte, where the Icepack played last week, a couple of our PackTV crew members over there. Georgia takes down and comes back to beat Virginia Tech 4-3 in an overtime thriller. And for you Pack football fans, NC State just went up, I believe, 14-3 on a Will Wilson touchdown run. So a couple of score updates for you. But here, back in Morrisville, North Carolina. We're still knotted at 1, but it's been a fantastic game so far, even though there's only been 2 biscuits in the basket. But Grace, what can kind of prohibit, or I should say inhibit, some future scoring from both of these teams?
For George Mason, I feel like they've done a great job. I mentioned it before, me and you were talking about it, about their power play forecheck. I feel like that they have a great flow down, and when you're on the power play, you really want to focus on entering the zone with speed, and they did a fantastic job at that. And for NC State, I feel like they are having a lot of chances. They have a lot of shots on goal, but capitalizing and making sure someone's there for a rebound, or just kind of taking your time to position your shot a little bit better. I think both teams are having a great game so far. It's definitely evenly matched.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, going back to George Mason, entering with some speed, they've done it all game. I don't think they should change that at all. They've kept the zone in a couple of times as well. But, one thing we've seen throughout a lot of this game, Grace, is that there's been a lot of board battles, a lot of fights for the puck, those 50-50 battles, those scrums, if you will. How physically tolling is it as a game goes on for these players, especially since George Mason travels to Orange County tomorrow night to play the Tar Heels, who then the Tar Heels will play NC State on Saturday. So how physically tolling are those big board battles?
You think they're kind of small when it comes to it's a battle in the corner, but those can really dictate goals or great passes outside of the circles. But so far, I feel like we have seen it a lot with George Mason, that they really are aggressive in their puck battles.
Yeah, it definitely have. And for NC State, they keep getting lured into them, if you will, and having a bit of trouble in those puck battles in the D zone. Both teams kind of winning it in their O zones. Just a couple of minutes left before puck drop here in Invisalign Arena. We'll come back to you one more time here in this second intermission. 1-1. one last look in here from Invisalign Arena before we decide the winner of tonight's game. 1-1 right now between the icepack and the Patriots. Nick Perazzi alongside Grace Motto. And Grace, this last little segment we're going to do here is just going to be what each team has to do to win this game. So first, we're going to start with George Mason. What do you think that the Patriots have to do if they want to come home victorious tonight?
I feel like right now they're already doing the right things, but really just focusing on the quality of their shots. And their coach said that they do play clean hockey, but that penalty frenzy I talked about, I feel like that kind of put a stop to their momentum. So I feel like just entering this period, you're tied 1-1. You just want to focus on the offensive zone.
Yeah, kind of to add to that too, it seems like George Mason's last offensive chance was on that power play right when Krasma got out of the box and had an opportunity for NC State. They had that point blast. It was Rutherden who had that good opportunity, and then the stick broke from their captain. And I believe for George Mason, for the most part there, ever since then, momentum's kind of been tailing off a little bit. NC State, though, they got their goal, but there's still some things they got to work on if they want to win tonight.
Yes, and I feel like both of the teams need to focus on quality of shots. We saw Reedy with 3 beautiful chances, but it all depends on whether you want to aim for their shoulders or try to produce a rebound.
Yeah, in the second period for NC State, I'd say the only high-quality shot they had was the goal from Jack Ammons. That tied us at 1 apiece on the 4-on-4 hockey. We've got 20 minutes on the board here in Invisalign Arena. That means there's 20 minutes to decide who's going to leave tonight with a victory. It's 1-1, NC State and George Mason. Third period up next.
I would never show my teeth. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's gonna take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
We talk forever about the future, worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go, from ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make, with bright ideas, new tools, and a Wolfpack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Oh, both teams have come back out of the locker room here for this third period. It's 1-1 between NC State and George Mason. 24-18, the shots on goal category in favor of NC State, Grace. But we talked about what each team needs to do to win going into this third period. The question, though, is which team will execute it?
I feel like right now, 1-1 game, you have to get off to a good start. Get the blood flowing, get the feet moving. And I feel like right now, this is anyone's game.
It definitely is, for sure. Question is, again, between the pipes, both goalies. Taeyang Lim has been fantastic, saving 17 of 18, and Ethan Roberts has matched that, 23 of 24. One goal has beat them apiece. As we get set to drop the puck here in this third period. Gouveia and Thorne will take the draw, and it's Gouveia winning it for the icepack as the final period is underway. As it will go right in on net on Lim, and a late cover there. Good pressure from Brandon Raleigh forces it, and a face-off just 9 seconds into the period.
Right now, the icepack is still leading with 24-18 shots.
Yeah, they look to add to that here. Another shot on goal. It's Thorne and Gouveia again to take the draw, but Thorne wins it this time, and Alley, it took a weird bounce off the glass, went right to him after he tried to shoot it around. And allowed George Mason to break out for now. Sent right back in from Darlene, who has trouble getting up. Goodwin just sitting there waiting for the puck. Two icepack players collide, but they still get the puck. Raleigh was looking for Gouveia, but a good defensive play by Alley, and it forces a dump in from Cam Smith. Into the corner, NC State with a forecheck, but they get it to Goodwin. Thorne in the corner. Good defense from Rinaldi. Great forecheck from NC State. They're actually bringing some new bodies out on the ice already as Raleigh looks to win the puck back against Chun, but he can't. Now here's Goodwin with space. Far end, it's Ruthermond. Drops it back off for Goodwin. And it's in the slot, but chipped away. Now Matthew Price a shot with traffic, but Ruthermond couldn't get a clean deflection, and now 3-on-2 the other way. Hoffman. And a shot, and a missed everything there. That was Raleigh as Thronson takes a big hit. It's still in deep, though. Kaufman behind the net as Raleigh takes a tumble. Long shift for him. Tried to get a weird deflection, and it's loose in front. That puck's still loose, and now we're going to see some action behind the play. It looked like, I believe, Hinkson of George Mason kind of pushed it right on limb. It forced him to cover, but he didn't have that puck. It was loose, and Raleigh was trying to get at it. And of course, whenever someone hits your goalie in the pads, that's not going to be allowed, and Hinkson took exception to that, but a weird circumstance there.
And that is such a nerve-wracking play as any player, but doesn't matter when you're a forward or a defenseman, with a loose puck that close to your goalie.
Kaufman and Price will take the draw. It's won by Matthew Price. Hinkson faked the pass, dropped it off, sent it along the boards, and now Price with speed. He's got Petit on his right side. Ranson racing with him, tries to get around Labrizzi. He will, and just didn't get a shot away, it looked like. As Roberts took a snow shower as well from that. In the corner, Labrizzi pressured from Ranson. Again, another board scrum. George Mason has been putting it on NC State all night with these.
One of these 50-50 puck battles.
And it's just like rugby, where each player that's not in the battle is trying to get that puck and jar it loose and ready to attack if they get it. And it's George Mason who gets a quick shot with traffic and a save made from Roberts. Ranson took the shot, knocked away the pass for a second. Herman brings it all the way in, but it's controlled from Farley. Herman will chase him down as Farley looks to break out. Couple of stick lifts, Farley off the board pass, and now it's Petit. Tries to get around a hit from Lapani. He finds Farley again. Back for Petit, and he just couldn't get a stick on the rubber. Oh, great opportunity there as Goodwin sends it in. As George Mason needs a change, but that was a good opportunity for George Mason. Just couldn't get the stick on the puck there. Off the board pass. Intercepted a little too hard there. Prasma just standing there waiting for it. And NC State will have it behind their own net. Look to break out now. Bouncing puck can't be controlled from Gifford. And now it's Sodden who will chip it out to center ice. Prasma with speed has to work around two defenders. Tries to deke through one and try to pass it off for Patterson. He couldn't. Gifford shoots one and it missed wide and hit a body on the way. That was Thorne. Wins the puck behind the net though. Chipped, and now Plyler will clear it for George Mason. And Sodden will give it back. Goodwin still out there. He just does not go on the bench, but he doesn't need to. That one missed everything, but it's not icing. That pass deflected. And now NC State tries to get this forecheck going again. Thorne will have it in the corner. He'll send it around the boards. Quinn Alley with it. As Prasma chases him, Patterson gets the steal generated from Prasma, but they can't hold the zone. And now George Mason the other way. It's Plyler. Goodwin waits for him at the blue line. A lot of white jerseys there as Plyler steps around and in. Finds Goodwin with a shot. He scores! George Goodwin nets home goal number 15 of the year and puts the Patriots up 2-1.
We can see that replay right now.
And it's what you've been talking about all night, Grace. Those self-screens from NC State. Puck was just loose. Goodwin settled it down. 3 white jerseys in front of Roberts. Never saw it. Goodwin beats him. And George Mason, with 16:11 to go in the period, retakes the lead. They're looking for more. Quick shot. Save made. Rebound opportunities. Loosed in front. Knocked around by Roberts. And it's still behind the net. NC State needs to clear, and they get it to center ice. That will do for now, but the Patriots are right back with another attack.
And the Patriots have that momentum coming off that awesome goal.
Loose in front, got poked away. And George Mason has awoken since that last goal. That put him up 2-1, but a chance for NC State. Great play with the stick from Markowitz. Far side, loose just in front of the blue line. And NC State will get it sent in deep from Andrew Thronson. Quinn Alley deep to get it for George Mason. Back around the boards the other way. Here's Markowitz. Stretch pass on the money. Nick Ranson dropped it off, but no one home in green. Here's Finch. Backhand pass, not on target though. And George Mason gets it back, but NC State able to dump. It was Lapani doing so. 5 minutes down here in the third period. George Goodwin finally puts his name in the stat sheet with a goal to make it 2-1. Back pass, chance for George Mason. Stick got tied up in the slot there. Another great opportunity for George Mason. They have really controlled them as this bounces in on Roberts. He'll play it out to Lapani, but a lot of high-quality chances for the Patriots as Rinaldi tried to step around Hinkson. He ends up doing so. Tried to drop it off for Gifford, but it never got through. Assuming it was Govea. Now the other way, Matthew Price steps around to hit. In the corner, Petit back to the point. It's Fisher. He'll shoots one, but it's knocked away by the stick of Govea and cleared to neutral ice. This will be offsides as it was touched up by Matthew Price. But Grace, George Mason has really put pressure on NC State.
They truly have. And Matthew Price, what a phenomenal skater.
Just him and Goodwin have been able to just walk around NC State defenders one-on-one with ease. Just pure skating skill from the two forwards. Govea gets kicked. Kaufman gets kicked. And it's Goodwin right back on the ice just 2 minutes after he scored the last goal. Try to generate something. NC State will break it out, though. Here's Holden Kaufman. A lot of green jerseys. He'll just send it on net, and it's knocked away from Lim. Plyler tried to backhand pass it through his legs and went to nobody, but George Mason controls. Here's Chun. Goodwin on the far side. The most dangerous players are out there for George Mason. Goodwin had it knocked away from him in the slot, and now NC State the other way. Herman tries to get around Tom, and he will into the corner. Trying to get it off his stick before he's pinned against the boards, but it went to George Mason. George Goodwin tries to step around Darlene. Nearly worked there, but NC State clears the neutral ice, and it's dumped back in. Puck behind the net. Turned over, though, on a bad pass. Quick shot. That might have hit something because it was way wide. In the corner now. George Mason has it looking. And no pass made to Rutherman. It just did not get there. Now behind the net, NC State controls again. That pass intercepted by Markowitz. And he'll decide to bring it in around Kaufman. He'll shoot one, but it's blocked from Labrizzi in front. Into the corner they go. Labrizzi around the boards. Scooped up from George Mason. Shot with traffic. And Rutherman just couldn't get it through. But they continue to apply pressure on NC State. This forecheck for George Mason, an offensive sequence as a big hit was made against the board. It just keeps pinning NC State in. They'll go at it again. Goodwin around the boards, finds Karpov. On the net, Karpov still able to get it up top for Fisher. Point blast, and it missed the net. Now up top, another shot, patted away with ease. It was Hinkson shooting it. George Mason, though, last 4 minutes, about 80% of the time, the puck has been in the NC State D zone. Bodies collide as Prasma hits the ice. Stumped in from George Mason. They'll get a couple of fresh bodies out there.
George Mason has been relentless in keeping NC State in their zone.
They've got a touch up here to avoid an offsides. Under 12 to play now. Stretch pass for Gifford. He wasn't ready for it, and this should be icing, and it is. And NC State just seems like they are back on their heels right now and just can't get anything organized to break out.
And a lot of blind passes straight to the Patriots.
That's something they can work on if they're able to win this draw, but the faceoff dot for the most part of this game, about 65-35%, has gone to the Patriots. They get another one here. Chun at the point kept it in. Shot deflected, misses wide. Bodies collide in front of the net. NC State breaks it out. Here's Prasma. NC State has numbers, but Prasma just lost it off his stick. Good job by Patterson to keep that puck in. But it's turned over. Here's Dylan Chun racing down the ice. A defenseman brings it in the O-zone. Easy shot, easy save for Roberts with 11:22, but At the top of the period, Grace, you mentioned shots on goal, 24-18 in favor of the Icepack. Since then, 2 shots for NC State, 5 for George Mason. One of them found the back of the net.
I told you, momentum is a dangerous thing in a game like this. You have 11 minutes left in the third period, and if you're George Mason, you're only up by 1.
False start on the draw, and you got to love this, though, if you're just a neutral party or a George Mason fan watching George Mason not kind of sit back and play defense with so much time left. They're attacking. They're looking to go up by multiple scores. And pressure-wise, it's working because NC State has not had any opportunities since Goodwin put the Patriots back in front. NC State will break out behind the net. That pass off the boards went to nobody. It was intended for an Icepack player, but took a weird bounce. Stolen, though, at center ice. Finch and Rady do it. Now here's Aiden Rady bringing it in. One of the tallest players you will see out on the ice tonight. As Petit has it now, but it's turned over. Good D by Lapani. He finds Rady in the slot, but he can't settle it down. Here's Finch. He'll shoot one, but it popped high and wide. Finch behind the net, slowly around the boards. Price and Sodden jaw at it. Against the corner now. Finch still fighting for it. It's kept in by Connie, and now it's knocked away from Nick Ranson. Here's Connie. He'll shoot one, and it just went high over the net. Now it's Finch circling. Oh, his pass was just right into Petit, and he's able to knock it down. He'll find Chun, who'll just quickly dump it in. He needs to get off for a change. NC State trying to hurt you. Rady, a slap shot. Misses wide of the net. Kept in, Darlene not on the same page there with Rady, and now breaking out the other way. Here comes George Mason. Racing forward on the dump in is Alexei Karpov. Knocked around the boards from Darlene. Raleigh hit hard against the boards, lost it. It's loose in front, but no one home for George Mason. Great defensive play from Ruthermond. The other way, Darlene brings it in deep. He's got an opportunity, goes to the backhand, and it's knocked away. Back to the point, Labrizzi. He's got room to work with. Back to the point. This is a shot, but it didn't get home. That was Michael Rinaldi. And now back up to center ice and all the way down to the D zone for NC State. It's Darlene. 9.5 to go.
And sometimes you just saw Darlene kind of bring the puck back into their own zone. Sometimes you just need to make a stretch pass.
I just got to regroup. Numbers for NC State. Ammons, Rinaldi shoots with traffic, and it was saved with the glove of Lim. Didn't have all of it. Labrizzi loses a stick. Numbers for Plyler. He's got Goodwin with him. Plyler shoots it, saved from Roberts. Rebound opportunity, not home there. Now on the other end, Plyler, one-timer. They score! Wyatt Hankson, just his second goal of the year. And George Mason puts a dagger into the heart of the Icepack to make it 3-1.
From the top of the circle, what a great one-timer.
Well, George Mason has controlled a lot of play this period. NC State's been back on their heels. It looked like NC State seemed to kind of change the tide a little bit with a good opportunities the other way, but a massive blow to the Icepack, now down 2 with just under 9 to play. Linesman gets tripped up after the draw, as NC State needs to play with some jump now.
And you can see that the Icepack is visibly frustrated.
Yeah, they are, and they're trying to get that jump back now. Big hit against the boards. Here's Herman now. Pass to nobody, though. And now George Mason the other way. Look at the speed of Goodwin. Pass from Plyler. It will end up getting there. Circles back on a good play with the stick from Tate Sodden. Oh, awkward hit there. Sodden with a reverse it on Mersico. That energizes the NC State bench. They need to use that as some momentum, though. Sodden's pass a little too hard off the boards, but it was sent in. It would have been offside, so George Mason regroups. They get some fresh bodies out there. Ammon's pass intercepted from Price. He's got speed, but a great play from Vinny Pascarosa to prevent a great opportunity for Price. Around the boards, there was players at the point. I went back for George Mason's Chung, and now they bring it in the other one. Quick shot, patted away from Roberts. Loose in front, but no one home. And here comes Daniel Prasma with speed and some space. Gifford along with him. He'll find Gifford back. Prasma shoots. It hit the pipe. Patterson, back one-timer opportunity, save made. That was Cam Smith. And now George Mason gets it back. They'll lift it out to neutral ice, and they're going to need some fresh bodies here. Prasma tried to chip and chase it, and he ends up getting it back. Needs some help. He finds Dahlin. Dahlin couldn't take the shot. Good D from Ruthermond. And now it's turned over to center ice. Cam Smith there. Big line change for the Patriots. Prasma trying to walk around Karpov. He cannot. And it's turned over now the other way. Here comes Ruthermond. 3-on-2 for George Mason. Ruthermond drops it back off a shot and a save from E-Rob. Dylan Thorne took it. As 6:50 to go now here in this third period. NC State generating some ozone time, but just can't generate a good shot.
There's definitely a stark difference in both teams' offensive zone mechanics. You see George Mason really taking their time and going into the zone, skating it in, while NC State sometimes just chips and chases it.
6:50 to go. Tie up one back from George Mason, but it's NC State bringing it through. Puck is loose. Connie stays with it. Oh, just couldn't get a shot off, though. Would have been one heck of a play. They keep it in, though. Thronson across. Labrizzi, and that one might have gotten through, but it was saved. Finch looking for options. Finds Labrizzi at the point. Labrizzi, he'll wrist one with the deflection. Saved made. It's still loose on that little slot area. Rady with it now. Surveying his options. Bodied a little bit. Dumped in Lapani slowly around the boards. He's hoping that Giancani gets there in time. He just can't. Bodies come together as this one's knocked away from Ruthermond. He gets it to center ice. NC State has to regroup. Rady, just missed it off his stick. This is not icing. Oh, now it is. And you can hear Tim Healy ask, why'd you wave it off? The linesman right in front of us on the bench side immediately rolls his hand back up, said, my bad. But a frustrated NC State bench with just under 6 to go.
And we have seen some costly turnovers, which has allowed George Mason, more time in NC State's zone.
So Marsico will take the draw for George Mason. Wins it back. Quick shot with some traffic, but it missed the net. It's loose right in front of Ethan Roberts. When NC State gets it behind the net, they control. That pass, though, just was not made. A couple of sloppy passes from NC State, making them a little harder than they need to be. Down the wing, here comes Austin Finch. This is going to be offsides, and it is. Tried to step around 2 defenders. He left the puck, though. It was touched up by Raleigh.
Nick, I have to say, I feel like the most important thing for this period is effort. I mean, if you lose a puck, you should try and go get it again immediately. Move and react.
Well, an interesting circumstance here. The linesman telling some George Mason forwards to get on the ice. I believe they were going for the change. Linesman forgot, though. It was offsides against NC State. Another stoppage here as the puck was dumped in. Looked like it went into the bench for a second. We'll do a face-off in the same spot.
If you're NC State right now, you're really hoping you can tap the puck into the offensive zone.
Tie-up goes to George Mason. It's Chun. Plays it across for Daniel Tom. And they were looking for Price. They couldn't get it there. Up at neutral ice. Govea, 2-on-1 for NC State. A shot and a big save off the stick, I believe, of Lim. He robs Brandon Raleigh away. Here's Ransom now for George Mason. Pop fly caught out of the air from Roberts. A couple bodies tumble after the play. But with 5:05 to go, this was a grade A chance for the icepack.
Oh, he saw that corner and was aiming for it.
That's why I believe it went off the stick there of Lim. And can't quite tell if that replay further helps my point or disproves it, but it remains a 3-1 hockey game. Price will take the draw for George Mason. I'll go up against Holden Kaufman of NC State. Well, never mind. Price gets He might have been a little tardy getting there. Tyler Rutherman will take it, but he loses it to Kaufman. Long pass around the boards. Not going to be caught to by Ammons, but they wave off icing. Great hustle play from Ammons. Hinkson down to the ice. Pushed against the boards. NC State playing with some grit now. It's loose, tied up in some skates right in front of the net, but kicked away from George Mason. Now the other way. Here comes Petit. Cross ice dump. Pascarosa first there for the ice pack. Had trouble playing it off his stick. He'll be still able to send it around the boards. Alley pinched up against the boards. He's in deep. Another scrum, 2v2. Around the boards it goes. No one there pressuring Ammons. His line change made from George Mason. Herman dumps it in. He'll take a little shove. It's Lim behind the net. Sends it around. Pass off the boards. Didn't quite get there. And now it's George Mason coming the other way. Here comes Farley. He'll dump and chase it in. Behind the net, Darlene first there for the ice pack. Couldn't get it around the boards. Good D from Farley. 4 minutes to go now. This is going to go all the way down. They are going to call it icing. And with 3:55 to go, Grace, NC State just can't find much success against George Mason. And a lot of the question coming into this game was, were they looking ahead to that big game on Sunday? I don't think that's the case. I think they just can't find success right now against this great Patriot team.
And you take each game one period at a time.
And you kind of need to, as George Mason comes the other way. Wraparound chance, all missed, and a great stuff opportunity for Plyler. It just missed his stick. Chung controls now. Off a skate, that was Kaufman. But it goes right to George Mason's Goodwin. Behind the net. Pass loose in front, swept away from NC State. 3.5 to go. We'll keep an eye on Ethan Roberts. Kaufman tries to step around Chun. Roberts not moving yet, though. And the corner now. Up top, Labrizzi. It's loose. Still in front and able to get swept away from George Mason, but Labrizzi kept it in. Prasma has some space. Tried to pass it for Ammons. It just went over his stick. Couldn't knock it down. Final 3 minutes now to play. Chip and chase. Goodwin hustling. Labrizzi's got to hurry on it, and he sweeps it away. Labrizzi just pressured. Can't do anything but pass it right back. Prasma. Pass deflected in by Alley. He'll chase it. Connie there for NC State. Behind the net, it's Thorne. Swept it away, but stolen by Gifford. Gifford brings it in deep. Back up for Prasma. Prasma circles, drives, shoots, deflected eye, and there's our good friend, Mr. Net. Which we haven't said his name in a while, but if you look over on the other end, Roberts was kind of waving to that bench, asking, what do I do here? 2.5 to go. Looks like he's getting some orders in now. Well, this draw will be an O-zone for NC State.
And we just talked about how a 3-1 game is very difficult to play.
It certainly is. Draw one shot quickly. Prasma got it through some traffic, but save made by Lim, and now the other way. Karpov. Oh, he lost it on his stick. Didn't keep his eyes on it. 2:18 to go. Got to assume a dump and chase, and out comes Roberts if you're NC State. They can't get it, though. Spin around opportunity save. Another shot and another save from Roberts in front. It was Dylan Thorne trying the spinorama. Had 2 opportunities at it. Roberts makes the save. As a timeout is called from NC State with 2:09 to go. And Grace, what do you think they're talking about down there?
I think they're talking about, the attitude. I mentioned a 3-1 game is a very hard game to play. I mean, if NC State just nets one, you can build off that momentum, make it a tie game. So I feel like you really need to focus on, you're spending most of the time in your own zone. So first you want to focus on that, and then the offensive zone takes care of itself.
Well, you got to keep in mind as well, and Grace, another question for you here. NC State just has one coach. It's Tim Healy tonight, and so those intermission breaks, especially right now, you see a player's drawing up some plays for NC State potentially. How hard is it, as a player and really as a coach, just all by yourself, none of your typical guys there to help you out? How tough is that?
I feel like Coach Healy has done a great job so far with, obviously it's an obstacle, and in hockey you have to adjust. Hockey is such a fast-paced game that, I mean, you're put in the situation and you can't not deliver. And right now, if you're NC State, you're really taking into account what coach is saying. You're down by 2, and to have Herman as your captain, you know, step up and lead you guys, you just need to focus and put each thing into play.
You got to give him a lot of credit, though, as his team's still in the game, shot off the draw, misses the net. And that's pretty hard to do when you're shorthanded staffing-wise. As Roberts thought about coming, he will not. Ammon steps around some defenders. They're going to rule it offsides, though. Or actually, we're going to have a penalty for an elbow. Or maybe a trip, actually, but it's going to go against the captain of the icepack, Zach Herman. And that is not what you want if you're NC State, especially with under 2 to play when you're about to pull the goaltender.
And I cannot stress this enough, but as we go see a face-off, these really matter as the clock winds down.
Now, if you're George Mason, question is, do you try for a lot of shots on goal, put the game out of reach, or with the man advantage for pretty much the rest of regulation, do you just sit back and make NC State try to make a play on you? Aggressive or conservative is the question for George Mason here. Icepack win the draw, try to shoot it down, but they cannot. And if you're George Mason, you're just going to try to kill as much time as you can. Alley's pass deflected, goes into the NC State bench and out of play.
And for the Patriots, the main thing that they're going to want to focus on is positioning.
Yeah. Well, a benefit for NC State here, because where that shot was, or where that puck was shot from, as they deliberate, it came from the George Mason side of the ice. Looks like the neutral zone. Well, they're actually just going to drop it at center ice because of the deliberation. So it's still a bit of a break if you're the ice pack. But assuming if you're able to win the draw, immediate dump. Ammons tried to went with it. He couldn't. Now it's Thorne coming with it. He'll shoot one, and Roberts had to be ready for it, and he was. Bit of a turn of events there. Down to 92 seconds here at regulation. 3-1 George Mason, who are on the man advantage. Prasma behind the net. Shoots it down, but it got deflected. Rutherman keeps it in at center ice. And George Mason will kill even more clock now. All the way behind the net they go. And breaking it out, here comes Dylan Chun. Around the boards, it's hit, knocked down as he tried to go around this defender for it. Sawden able to knock it out. Roberts, he was halfway there, had to come back. Down to a minute to go. Plays onside, dropped off George Goodwin. Just tick, tick, tick. That's what George Mason wants. That's what they're doing. Rutherman goes down, but able to play it back. Right to the slot. It's loose. And George Mason still has it, though. George Goodwin, as Prasma kicks it away.
A lot of bouncing with the puck.
NC State able to get it here. They need to pull the goaltender now, but they just can't. As George Mason looks like they've got the win in balance here just 22 seconds ago. NC State, the penalty prohibited them from being able to pull the goaltender Roberts. And with 15 seconds left, George Mason will start day one of this 2-day road stand in the Triangle with a 3-1 victory over the NC State Icepack, as Prasma will bleed the last seconds out, whiffs on a shot, and that will do it. George Mason comes in the Invisalign Arena, and for the second time all year, hands NC State a loss in this building. A 3-1 victory for George Mason. The go-ahead and winning goal scored from George Goodwin, and then the dagger of a goal, if you will, scored from Wyatt Hinkson.
And NC State will look to shake this loss off as they head into Sunday.
Yeah, they will. They've got a quick turnaround, less than 48 hours of a turnaround, if you will, to go on to Lenovo Center, home of the Carolina Hurricanes, and take on their arch rivals, the North Carolina Tar Heels, who will see this mean green machine, if you will, of George Mason tomorrow night over in Orange County. But NC State tonight, Gray State, parts of this game, they looked a little flat. Second period, I thought they looked good, but the third period, George Mason really stepped up to the table, and I think that was the big difference. It wasn't really anything NC State did in the third period. It was just George Mason was able to establish their brand of hockey, and they never lost their identity of it.
They truly did not lose their identity, and they showed up coming off of that tie, and they really put pedal to the metal.
Yeah, they definitely did. And we're going to recap everything we saw from tonight coming up in our post-game show. Final count from Invisalign Arena. George Mason 3, NC State 1. Back here from Invisalign Arena, Nick Perazzi alongside Grace Motto. A bit of a somber scene here for NC State after a defeat to the George Mason Patriots 3-1. And Grace, that third period, they just could not establish any offensive presence and really break out of their own zone. It felt like George Mason really controlled the rest of that game.
Right out of the gate, George Mason was ready to play for the third period. And I have to say, they really kept up the pace. They did not allow a lot of shots from NC State, but they responded very well.
Yeah, they definitely did. And with about 16 minutes to go in the period, it was their go-to guy, George Goodwin, netting home his 15th goal of the season, 29th point in 18 games, which ended up being the game-winning goal to make it 2-1 George Mason.
And I feel like going off of that, the biggest thing tonight was effort. And George Mason and their top line really showed a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, they definitely did. Wyatt Hinkson able to net home just his third goal of the season as well, just his 5th point of the year. But it was a big one then. It was a big blow to NC State. looked like the icepack were developing something after that goal, especially as the clock ticked down, but a huge penalty that cost them towards the end of that game, a tripping call against Zach Herman, and NC State was never even able to pull Ethan Roberts, a masterclass, if you will, from George Mason in terms of wasting time at the end of the game.
And that's exactly what you want to do. George Mason did it extremely well, is just running down the clock.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So we've got a couple of things to brush up on and talk about, including breaking down what the next game holds for both teams, including 2 games really for both teams against the North Carolina Tar Heels. Final count here in Raleigh, though, 3-1, George Mason over NC State.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go. From ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make. With bright ideas, new tools, and a Wolfpack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
When you look at me, you might see
A person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
an endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
Is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Well, I'm looking good. Thank you. Just became a real ID. What's the plan? Impromptu road trip? Actually, the plan is to fly to New York for today's product launch, and then visit the family in California and cap it off with a girls' weekend in New Orleans. You really can just do all that. Sure, I'm a real ID, so I'm good to board any domestic flight. Speaking of which, gotta fly. Nice. Enjoy. I'll be here.
Be your Real ID self today. To learn how, visit tsa.gov/realid or your local DMV.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Back here in Invisalign Arena, Nick Perazzi joined alongside Grace Motto. And Grace, both of these teams will have dates against the North Carolina Tar Heels. Mentioned it during the broadcast, George Mason will travel to Orange County to face the Tar Heels tomorrow night. NC State gets a day off tomorrow before they head to Lenovo Center to take on the Tar Heels in the coveted Governor's Cup. But for both teams, how do you go into those two games where UNC had the day off today?
So for George Mason, I feel like you're going to want to ride this great win, 3-1. And for NC State, I feel like you really want to focus on taking that day to rest and recover. And in hockey, you really want to react and respond. You know, it's a quick game, but I feel like they really need to take into account on what they can do better. You know, this will be the third time they've played UNC, and at a bigger venue, I don't know if that might be a little bit of intimidating for them, having both fans. You know, it'll be a much easier drive for Chapel Hill's fans, but I feel like we'll have more coaching staff as well for NC State, but just react and respond.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be the message going into that locker room for Sunday's game. And you said it for George Mason as well. You know, it's a quick turnaround. luckily for them, you know, you're going to be at the same hotel as you will be tomorrow night, just short drive down the road. So just quickly regroup, regather, and then you're on the road to play a physical North Carolina team. As for the NC State Ice Pack, you mentioned it, Grace. Take tomorrow as a recovery day. Look back, maybe watch some film, you know, see what went right, see what went wrong, and especially watch film on those last 2 games against UNC. Both teams have a victory against each other this season. NC State won in this building just a couple months ago over North Carolina, but then the next day both teams traveled to Greensboro, where we were on the call for that one, and saw UNC be able to take a win against NC State. So overall, though, it's been a fantastic season here at Invisalign Arena for myself. There's another semester to go, but next time here in this building, Grace, you'll be taking my position. Both teams will play North Carolina coming up with the final count from Morrisville. 3-1, George Mason over NC State.